So on my journey to stay young and, preparing for my upcoming milestone, I have been working out diligently.
Good.
Like every day I'm doing something to move my body. I'm going on a walk. I'm stretching. I'm doing a little workout at home or whatever. I'm just doing something. And I decided in this new year, I'm going to take it up a notch, a small notch. And I started working out with a trainer. And so he's one of those people that is really going to make you work hard.
Right.
And so
Is he really fit also?
I think so.
I
haven't
curious.
checked him out too carefully.
Okay. Well, I'm not
sure
suggesting you check him out.
He's not. Yeah, I'm sure he is.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
I haven't squeezed his biceps or anything like that. But
okay, I'm sorry I went there. Go ahead. And
anyway, so I've been working out with this trainer. It's not fun. I don't love working out in the first place, but I know it's good for me, so I'm going to do it. Right. And we're doing this thing where you pull down on the bar with weight on it. And he's put so much weight on there that as I'm pulling down, my bottom is coming up off the bench because I'm just like, right. And he starts pulling with me. And every time I start pulling, I'm like, oh my gosh, because it's just so hard. I just keep saying, oh my gosh. And he finally goes, you don't have to say it every time.
Listen, that just reminds me that I got in trouble at my gym just before Christmas. Not really in trouble, because what are you going to do? I'm a paying person. I'm a client.
They'll kick you out if you're too much trouble.
Well, yeah. The gym owner was just like, hey, when you complain, it rubs off on the other people. I was thinking, whatever is what I was thinking. But I realized I'm just externally processing. I'm doing the exercises. I'm just talking through the fact that it's very difficult.
It's so hard. The only words that come to my mind are, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
And I just either,
I
sigh and I just go, I don't know if I can do anymore. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've been on my best behavior and I've just been crushing it and I haven't been, oh my goshing. So you can do it too.
Okay.
Oh my goodness, that's funny.
Well, I was doing lunges and I started saying, oh my gosh, again. And then I'm like, figure out something different to say or
just grunt, I guess.
I have this habit. If you call it a habit, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I go work out and then my legs are sore. Doing all this working out. My legs are sore. So then I want to feel my leg or look in the mirror like,
see if it's changed.
Is this changed? Is this firm? Don't
look at your arms yet. It takes a while.
Do I have muscle here? Is it moving? Is it changing? Is it lifted?
Is it lifted?
After one workout, is it lifted?
No, just so you know,
I'm
it's
disappointed.
Not. It's not. Have you seen that meme on social media that's just like, I think it cusses, so I won't say exactly what it says, but it says something about, I'm tired of you 20-year-old fitness influencers. Of course your body looks good. You're 20.
Yeah.
But that's true. Like we've got to work out for a long time.
Yeah.
We've got to work out for a long time.
For the rest of our life.
Okay. We're going to have to introduce ourselves.
Okay. Yeah. I'm Heather. This is Jamie. This is the podcast Life in Motion. And this is where we talk about all the stuff that makes up life, whatever that might be.
That was a good way to say it.
Yeah.
That was a good way to say it.
Today it's working out.
Well, surely we're not going to talk about that for the whole time.
No.
Okay, good. What would you like to talk about?
I was thinking about with all this workout stuff and how I immediately am looking like, have I made any progress? How this is so true over and over and over again in my life that I'm always like, have I made any progress here? Am I moving forward? Am I improving in some way or becoming better in some way? Or I want the instantaneous results like, kids, I'm making a new rule, and then expect everybody to follow the rule and love it.
That's good. This is a slightly different angle than what you're talking about, Heather, but I was talking to a fellow mom at a youth basketball game this weekend, and we were talking about a mutual acquaintance who's just gone through a divorce, and, the marriage was hard, and now being divorced is hard, and now being a single parent is hard, and how so many things in life is us choosing are hard. Like, what are you going to choose to stick to? Now, whether it's something like exercise, like you're talking about, or learning your multiplication facts, like Eleanor's doing, which is a different kind of hard. But I think, for me at least, I like to think things are going to come easily and come naturally, and I'm not going to have to work at it. Or like I'm going to set the rule, and one time my kids are just going to start.
You're like, yeah, Mom, we'd love to do that.
I'd love to do that. I had an incident with Chase not too long ago. And I won't go into too many details because he's a pretty private person, and it feels like this could go south if I talk about him too much. But he broke a rule in our family, and he knew he did, but he doesn't agree with the rule.
Yeah,
But the rule's dumb. And so therefore, and what I was talking to him about, and you can correct me on this because you've already heard the story, and I know what you're going to say in a second. I was talking to him and sharing with him that it's not even so much the rule. Like I was like, I'm trying to raise you to be a good human being that loves Jesus. And all through the Bible, we learn about self-sacrifice, doing things that are difficult, respecting authority, whether we agree or we don't agree. And like, if I never teach you this, you're never going to learn. Like, it's the rule, obey, or there is a consequence, period. I don't even care if the rule's dumb to you. Like, just, and he was listening to me. This is the part I'll let you speak into in a second. We were in the car, and I think I should probably backtrack. The way it went is he got in the car after school and shut the door. And I said, so do you want to talk to me or Dad about this rule that you broke? And he kind of turns his body to face towards the window to look out the window to ignore me. And so I just start talking to him about it. We have to have rules so that we can teach you how self-denial. We can teach you how to be responsible. We can teach you how to respect authority. Are you going to say anything? And he's like, I don't know what you expected me to say. So I pause for a minute and I think, well, then let me tell you a few other things you've done wrong. And so I just continue. Nothing. I mean, it's like a 20-minit drive, so nothing.
Yeah,
so
I might as well fill the time talking.
Well, I did better than that. I waited for like a good 60 seconds in between each segment. So just wait. He's not going to talk. So I'm like, and the problem with this is, and I just kind of keep going. And honestly, I do have to say, I think if I'm not mistaken, his wheels seem to be spinning. Like I feel like he was listening.
He wasn't listening.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
There's a certain point where you've got like 2 minutes, maybe, to say what you want.
2 minutes?
2 minutes to say what you
want.
You
have no idea how many things I need to talk about.
You've got 2 minutes to say what you want to say. And then after that, they are only thinking, when will this be over?
Do you think your spouse thinks this too?
Does my spouse?
No, not yours in particular. That was just like the world of spouses. Do you think Brian thinks that too?
About
me talking too much?
Yes,
oh
of course he does.
Of course he does.
Of course he does.
You can't possibly get your point across in 2 minutes.
Yes, you can.
No, you can't.
Yes, you can.
That's something else. Just before we move off of Chase and my talking to him, because I feel like his wheels were spinning and he was listening and taking it in. I think he was. But, now I've lost where I was going with that. Also, something else in this season of life.
Keep talking.
I know, I'm just going to also in this season of life, I feel very challenged by the fact that I can't ever have an opinion different than his, or he just argues with me about it.
Than Chase?
Yes. Last night, we were talking about a basketball game, and I think number 1 was the best player on that team. He's like, oh, no, 42. And I was like, well, I see how you would think that. I think it was 1. He's like, no, it wasn't. It was 42 because have you seen his stat? And he goes on and on. Like, why can't I just be me? Like, leave me alone.
Because he's at the age. I've got one of these too. Oh. They know everything. So when you're talking and they're not responding, there's nothing that you are saying that is going to change their mind in that moment. There is nothing you can say. So you might as well say what you got to say and then change the subject to happier things. And because they're just sitting there like, when is she going to stop?
You might be right.
I know I am.
Because I did say, I got to talk to your dad about what kind of punishment or consequence there is. And then Brian and I kind of talked, and I mentioned to Chase, here's what we're going to do. And then when I was enforcing that, he's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Not with the indiscretion, the consequence. I'm like, yes, you do. Because we talked, he's like, I have no idea. I can't even believe. Like, who weighed in on this? I was like, me and Dad. Like, what in the world? No idea.
Because he stopped.
Didn't listen.
He was, yeah.
So what do you want me to do? How am I supposed to communicate to people?
You just succinctly tell them you violated the rule because, and this is why we do this that we do, and then you move on.
I don't like to do it that way. So there's that.
Well, good luck.
Right, yeah. It's a whole, I wonder, I'm going to have to think back as we've been raising Cooper if I have occasionally done it right with Cooper or if I've always talked a lot. Cooper's turned a corner. He turned 18 last week. I mean, he's a full-on adult. I've got an adult kid. I'm an adult. He's an adult. But I've turned a corner with him where he's no longer fighting me about everything. Like, he's learned what things I appreciate, and he's doing those things. Not all. I'm not talking about doing the dishes or anything. That would be way too much to ask. But, like, Valentine's Day, he shot me a text, and he's like, hey, Mom, happy Valentine's Day. I love you. And I'm just like, oh, my gosh, I love you, too. Like, it meant so much to me. But I've been telling him when he does things that I'm like, this is so meaningful to me. And he's like, I had no idea. Now he keeps doing those things. Where Chase and I are still arguing over if number 1 or number 42 is the better basketball player.
Yeah. My one child that's always right about everything. Why
do I always throw my kids under the bus and I name them and you'll say, my one child, my one of 5, you'll never guess who it is.
You'll never guess who it is.
Oh my goodness.
He
is one of 2 now.
Always right.
I know which one.
Opinionated.
Yeah.
And we're a lot alike in many ways, and I tend to fall to his level. I mean,
Sure.
I can point out all of your flaws and just tell you how easy it is to fix them. But when it comes to me and my kids, I fall for the same stupid ditch every single time where we drop down into sarcasm and, just fine. If we were arguing over 1 and 42, like who's the best? I can't think of something that we've argued over recently except dishes. But
number 1 was the best.
I would be like, you don't know anything. You are only 17 years old. You have no idea what you're talking about. Fine, you be that way, but I know that you're,
Oh my goodness, that's funny. I feel like I wasn't, like last night I wasn't being sarcastic as much as I was like, you don't have to agree with me, but let me have my opinion. Like, I'm not trying to win you over. You can have number 42 all you want. I don't know what my problem is. It's interesting, Heather. We've talked kind of about the challenge in me maybe over talking to Chase, whether it's Chase or Brian or anybody. But you know what's fascinating? Like when I really think, like if I pause and think and boil it all the way down, and I hate to make everything about how you grew up and what your family was like when you were younger, but often it is. Like my dad was pretty domineering, so you didn't talk back or share, like you didn't have the opportunity to say, you're hurting my feelings, or I feel bad about this, or could I tell you what actually happened? You're only seeing. So when my kids were little, I really tried to open the door for them to just be able to communicate how they felt about all the things. In hindsight, probably what would have been better was had I healed that childhood wound in my own heart instead of giving my kids a free pass, because now there's times where I'm going like, I'm the adult, just respect me. And I can't get everybody to rein it in. Brian notices it because he'll be like, every one of you is off today. Like we're all frustrated with one another and we're all spouting off how we feel about things. And you should have a time to share how you're feeling. But there are certain times where I'm having the hardest time because of his age with Chase, just going like, no, I said do this, like the dishes. Like Brian can walk in and say, do the dishes, and everyone stops what they're doing and does the dishes. But I raised them to be able to be like, I don't feel like doing the dishes right now.
I do the same where I'm like, okay, I need you to fold your laundry. Okay, Mom, I'm going to fold it as soon as I get done with this
Right. It's like
video game.
they tell
and I'm
you
like,
when they're going to do it.
Okay, I trust you.
Right.
You're going to keep your word
Right.
and do it when you get done with
Because
the
you
video
have an
game.
internal alarm clock that's going to remind you.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
No.
Speaking of alarm clocks, I cannot keep bashing this kid, but just one more tiny thing. I found out just recently that Chase is setting his alarm 7 minutes before he needs to leave for school every morning. 7 minutes.
That's plenty of time.
We leave the house at 7:30 and his alarm goes off at 7:23. No wonder I'm always angry in the mornings.
Yeah.
And to me, I'm just like, that's, to him, it's like efficient. I only need 6 minutes. I've given myself 60 seconds extra. To me, I'm just like, that's utterly disrespectful to me and your dad, because we're running around the house. Do you have your stuff? Do you have your basketball stuff? Are you ready? Get in the car. We're late. Let's go.
Well,
but
then just walk out the door. And leave
I
him
have
at
done
home.
that once before, but only once.
I would do it every day.
I need to do it every day. Just leave those people.
Yeah.
I don't drive to school. Brian needs to do it. I need to not get twirled up. I don't think Brian's twirled up. Why am I twirled up? What's happening right now?
I'll tell you why you're twirled up.
Why?
Is because you feel like you need to carry the responsibility for Chase.
I do.
Getting himself to school with
And
all of his stuff.
Even launching him into the world as an adult one day. I feel all the pressure of doing it.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
I do this too. I overfunction. I
want you to be.
I want you to be successful, so I'm going to do this for you.
It feels better to be like, I just love him so much, I can't let it go. And you start saying overfunctioning, and that sounds
doing
rude.
for others what they can and should do for themselves.
Like set your alarm clock earlier.
Well,
so you just do it?
Set your alarm clock for
or
7 minutes before, but have your stuff laid out. I'm not going to remind you to get your stuff and get in the car. You're on your own, bucko.
I feel
this is so easy for me to say.
I feel angst, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But isn't this even the state of our culture of parents doing for their kids? Some stuff they don't even want you to do or care if you do.
Well, I am on multiple group me's for school.
Oh, sure, different grade levels.
For all my grade levels. And without fail, and I say this without judgment, because I've got my own overfunctioning issues. Without fail, every single group me, several times a week, there is a mom, not the same mom.
Sure.
Lots of moms.
We're not picking out a mom.
They'll say, can somebody send the spelling worksheet? Can somebody send the homework pages? Can somebody send, because their kid didn't bring them.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, they knew about it. I know that the teachers are doing their job and writing the stuff on the board and whatever. And if the kid didn't bring it home, let them 1 time, 2 times, 5 times, however many times, feel the consequences of not bringing their stuff, of failing a spelling test. What's one spelling test failed? It's not the end of the world.
It's so funny because it's easier for me for some reason to do that with Eleanor over those things than with my teenagers, because some of their shortcomings feel like, I mean, this could be life or death. Like out past curfew. What if you've died on the side of the road in a car wreck? It feels like poor Eleanor. I'm parenting her crazy different. Like last night, she's like, I forgot to do some of my homework. And I'm just like, well, that's not on me. I'm not in 3rd grade. And Brian's like, she's only 9. And I'm just like, well, I'm not in 3rd grade, though. She should do all that. It's interesting.
Well, I think with the teens, we feel like there's more pressure there's more at stake.
Yeah.
Because guys, you don't pass this math test, it brings down your GPA, which your
affects if you can get into college, right?
And so you feel like that there's more at stake. But seriously, let's be honest with ourselves. In 10 years from now, in 5 years from now, is it really going to make a difference?
Yeah.
And is it worth our peace in our home and their maturity to be doing for them what they can and should be doing for themselves?
Sure. That's I'm thinking now of a story outside of my family because I feel like it drives the point home, and but it's easier to talk about because it's not my family. You bring my kids into it, my heart gets all racy, and I need to do all the things. But I have an extended family member who was in a situation where they ended up in drug court, and they needed it's kind of it's too much to try to bring into one little show. They were supposed to be living in the county in which they were arrested in order to go through drug court. If you go through drug court, you can get your charges dropped. So of course you want to do that, but they're living in another county because they were in a sober living home. So it seems like, well, and then there's this big, our extended family, this big debate about like, should they move back to the county so that they can get the drug charges removed, or do they stay in sober living? Well, listen, the judge found out they were in sober living. It was like, they can stay in that county and still be in drug court because they're working on it. So it worked out fine. But it was this big dilemma. And part of me goes like, well, stay in sober living where you're going to get clean. And if the charges stay, the charges stay. But at least at the end of the day, you have a chance to meet Jesus. You have a chance to be clean. You have a chance to live a productive life, even if those charges stick. But then at my house, I'm just like, well, if Chase doesn't get up early enough and is late for school,
what's going to happen to him? He's going to go to detention, and then maybe he'll set his alarm 15 minutes before he's supposed to leave.
Yeah, and you're right. It's like carrying burdens that aren't really mine to carry. They're mine to manage and to navigate and to help him carry, but they're his to carry. That's different. So overfunctioning might be. The beauty is if we learn how to do it and learn how to not overfunction. I'm obviously not there yet.
Neither am I.
But there is some joy on the other side, and which is kind of what we've been talking about this season, and today in particular. Choose your hard, because it's all hard. And then if you choose wisely, there's joy on the other side.
Yeah.
Maybe not in that moment.
Yeah.
But
I've been with my one kid. He keeps not
same
doing...
one, because we've already figured out who he is because you said his age, so same one.
Keeps doing the same things. I need you to load the dishwasher, and then he's playing in a tournament, and so that'll have to happen whenever...
In a video game tournament.
Yeah.
I just meant like he's not like outside of the house. He's in the house.
He's in his room, and he's playing in a tournament.
Right.
So
it's a big deal.
The dishwasher isn't getting loaded, and so then he's walking in the door after school, and the dishes are in the sink waiting for him, and I'm just like, okay, let's not get on that PC today because you keep not doing what I ask you to do when I ask you to do it. And so now you don't get to do what you want to do. And we get into this whole argument where we just go back and forth with each other, and he wears me down until I'm like, fine, just if you'll do what I ask you to do, then maybe you can get on that PC.
Does he wash the dishes then and then heads back to
and then... But he's like, this is not my job. This is not what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm like, you're doing whatever I tell you to do.
We need Brian to parent all these kids.
Just on top of your full-time job, Brian.
Just need Brian
to
parent
over to my house.
All the kids, all of our children. And he's just he does this, which is really probably just nice, just courteous. He does this thing, but not just with our kids. I see him do it at work. Hopefully I'm not telling people secrets. I see him do it at work. I see him do it with me. He does it with our kids. I've seen a counselor do it when I was in counseling before, but like guides you to come to the realization yourself. And it works really, really well. Instead of coming in like I do, guns blazing, like, you have to do this or burn. He'll ask you a question. How are you doing? How do you feel about this? What are you hoping to accomplish today? I'm hoping to play in that video game tournament. Oh man, that sounds fun. I hope you get to do that too. What are the things that you have to get done before mom said you could do that? You're just like, dishes and blah, blah, blah.
Brilliant, Brian.
Oh, well, I mean, it sounds like you don't mind. You better hurry because that tournament starts soon. Like he just does it where I'm just like, do the dishes right now. I've asked 5 times. And he's just like, hey bud, what's going on?
Whit
everybody likes Brian best.
Yeah, Whit tells me, he's like, I have a lot of success with that one kid. When I just give him a hug first and say...
I'm guessing the vibes coming off of you feel different than the vibes coming off of Whit during the hug. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's what I'm going to work on with all of my kids is asking some more. I even watched Brian do this yesterday. I'm really lucky to be married to him. He did two things really amazing this week. First of all, he sent me flowers on Valentine's Day, and I know that you don't care about Valentine's Day, but I was just having kind of a blah off day, and he sent them a day early because he's just like, florists are probably busy on Valentine's Day, and they probably charge more.
Yeah.
So he's
thinking of the florist.
He's probably thinking of the florist. How can I serve you while I serve her? Anyway, but it was certainly a surprise because it was the day before, and I just thought that was so nice. And it got me, I was about to have a bad attitude that day, and I just went, that was so nice. Turned that whole day around. I texted him, I was like, I needed this. Thank you. But also on Valentine's Day, Eleanor got in the car after school, and I was like, tell me everything that happened. Because she usually wants to.
Yeah.
And she's just like, nothing, it was no big deal.
Oh.
And so then I was kind of frustrated because she wants to tell me everything. And the day that I really cared, she's like, nothing happened. So after Brian got home from work, Brian said, did anybody have a Valentine's box that you liked a lot? Like he asked her a specific question. She's like, oh, so-and-so's box did this. And I was like, what's even happening right now? But he leads with questions instead of demands. I might try that
So
too.
your homework for the week is questions. Only questions.
Only questions. I'm an Enneagram 8, Heather. I speak in commands and confidence.
So
and I
is
like it.
So is Brian.
Brian is too. Okay, I'm going to speak in soft tones and questions. Can I be done laughing if I do that?
No.
I'm just laughing every day.
You still have to. You have to laugh. What's the word I'm looking for? I'll get it out in a second. Admit? No, it's not admits. It's
this is fantastic.
Amidst
Yes.
the hard.
Oh my goodness.
You must laugh.
Okay,
Because usually it's actually hysterically funny, the antics that these people put on for washing the dishes. Whit and I have this ongoing discussion in our home because I genuinely love to serve.
You do, and you're good at it. Like it's a spiritual gift of yours.
Some people, people come in and they're like, Mom, I'm hungry. Well, let me make you a sandwich. And Whit's like, let them make their own sandwich. But I like to do it. So there's a lot of things that I like to do. And then there's a lot of things that I like to do because I don't want you messing with my stuff, or I don't want to clean up your mess, or I don't want to hassle you to come clean up your mess.
Yeah.
And like laundry. I generally do all the laundry.
With all those people in your family?
With all the people in my family. And they help fold sometimes. But I in some ways, I like to do it. It's like, I don't sit down and watch a lot of TV. I do watch a couple of shows while I fold a couple of baskets of laundry. I mean, it's like not a big deal for me. I like to be doing something while I'm watching a show. I don't like to just sit there. However, I realize that I am hurting my kids. I feel like I'm loving them. Here's your clean laundry. Here's your stack. I feel like I'm loving them. I'm taking care of you. I'm serving you. But they have zero skills when it comes to how to care for themselves and manage their time. And it's like this ongoing thing of how do I teach you? But there's also a dark side to it because I don't want you messing with my detergent. I don't want you getting in the laundry room and washing your clothes and then leaving them in the washer or using all the laundry detergent. I mean, it's like there's reasons why I want to do the laundry because I don't want you messing with my stuff. There's reasons why I do want to make you a sandwich because I don't want you to make a mess in the kitchen.
Sure.
It's like I'd rather do it myself because I don't want the consequences of your dirty crumbs everywhere.
That's interesting. I would say it's human nature to sometimes do things for others because it makes you feel good more than you're doing it for them.
Yeah.
Or you don't want to feel guilty because other people are doing this for their kids and I don't want to feel less than, so I'm going to join in too, even though you don't want to. It's a hard thing to manage. I was even thinking, part of this is because we're close, so I can be okay with it. But like, you are very kind. And like this weekend at church, you said, hey, I went to this bakery and it's mostly gluten-free and they do a bunch of sourdough and those are things that I can have. So you're like, so I got you a loaf of sourdough bread and I got you a sourdough croissant. And I'm just like, this is fantastic. And I don't go home feeling like, oh my goodness, that probably costs 15 plus 3 plus, I need to make sure and do $30 worth of something I don't feel that at all.
Good.
But there are other situations where I would feel that, like, everybody, let's pitch in and have a pizza party for all the kids. And then I'm like, I don't really want to, but if I don't, then somebody else has to pay for my kid. And I don't want them to have to pay for my kid. So I guess I'll join in. And it's interesting to have to navigate some of those things.
Well, I was thinking about even the dark side of kids' homework and things like that, the things that we do for our kids. And part of it is because we don't want to look like bad parents.
Right.
Like, I'm not doing my job. I'm not raising them right. I'm not, making sure they fulfill their responsibilities when there's the key word, their responsibilities.
Sure.
It's sometimes you do things because you want to look good.
Sure. Is the question, who am I doing this for? Am I truly doing it for my child and for their well-being? Like let's say you you don't have a spelling list. Well, maybe they missed a day of school because they were sick. Or maybe, they've worked so hard all year on spelling and they've proven that they're studying and they're doing this and they have forgotten it one day and this is the time you're going to bail them out. I mean, are you doing it for them? Or are you doing it for you? Maybe that's the question. And nobody knows the answer but you. No one knows. And I don't even know I don't know. I don't know if we always have an emotional IQ high enough to figure out the answer for ourselves. Yeah. We may need community to talk to us and tell us when we're over-functioning. Like, I'm going to have to think about if I agree with you or not about over-talking to Chase when I'm parenting him, because I hear what you're saying and I think it's right, but I need to wrestle it for myself. So don't you think in all these other issues, you probably need community to walk alongside you and help you? Quit doing your kids' laundry. I'm winning at that one. My kids do their own laundry. I have 1 point. You have 1 point.
Okay. But I know I am right. Because I had the parent that was always talking to me until I'm just like,
sure.
Can I slink out of the room? Would they even notice if I'm gone? Because they're so enamored with all their talking. I had that parent.
All I'm saying is, if I couldn't see that for myself until you said that, and so now I'm thinking about it, somebody can't see for themselves that you might be harming your kids and doing their laundry for the rest of their lives for them. They're like 45, bringing their laundry home, or bailing them out on their spelling test. Or I'm just saying, maybe we should have some more compassion on these people because they've never realized it yet, like me.
It's true. Okay. I mean, it's true. You do. You have to have people tell you, Whit is all too happy to tell me, you are not helping these kids by doing their laundry
I
for
meant
them.
somebody lovingly telling you like, hey, Heather, let's teach these kids to do their laundry. I'll do it with you. You can put a little sign up above the washer and dryer that says the steps, because once you tell them one time, they're not listening. Remember, you told me that. They're not listening.
They're not
but
listening.
At least it's there so that then they go, okay, here's the steps.
I told my one kid, that you dry your clothes. I always dry them on delicate because usually there's something that's slipped in there that shouldn't be dried or whatever. So always just dry them on delicate, and that way you might be safe. Anyway, I hear him doing laundry, and I go in the laundry room to see what he's up to, and he has turned the dryer on heavy duty.
Because he's in a hurry.
It's all the way to the top.
He's in a hurry. He's got to dry those clothes quick.
Temperature
yeah,
possible.
I do that too.
Oh, my.
Well, not with delicate things in there, but...
Well, anyway, he wasn't listening. So I went through and I turned it off and restarted.
Have you seen that meme that's like, I want my kids to always know they can come in my house and open my refrigerator and blah, blah, blah. And I'm reading that going, well, I do want my kids to always come home and visit my house, but I don't want to be doing their dirty laundry in 20 years.
No.
So you better
teach them.
That's
where I draw the line.
That's where you, okay. So you can do it now while they're 17, but you're going to draw the line for 20 years from now. So 37, he's on his own.
There's some things that I refuse to overfunction in.
Okay.
Because I hate these things like crafting. I don't like to craft. Don't like it. Don't want to do it. It just brings me no joy.
Yeah.
It's just frustrating. I don't like it. And so Valentine boxes is like, Mom, I want to make this and that and whatever. And
they're very creative kids, so they can do most of it.
But one of my kids, her first idea was, I'm going to do an open book. Like it's going to look like a book.
Yeah,
and
good.
It's going to flip open. And she worked it out with tape, used all my Scotch tape, and it was terrible. I mean, honestly, it was no bueno. And so we had to just throw it away and start over. So she's going to make a different thing. And she's going to paint the box red. And I'm like, okay, paint it in the laundry room so paint doesn't get anywhere. Paint got everywhere. Paint on her sister, paint on her brother. Her sister's wearing a nice sweater.
Oh, no.
Paint on the sweater. Then paint on my nice winter coat.
Oh, no.
And I'm just like, this is why I don't allow you to do anything because...
Do anything. This is why I overfunction, because you are messy. Oh, my goodness.
You just created a lot of work for me to do to get this paint out of all of this stuff.
Sometimes I'm an underfunctioner, like when it
I'm going to lay on the couch while you paint that box red.
Listen, I've been so busy lately. We talked about Valentine's boxes several weeks ago. Didn't get it done. I literally wake up on February 13th and go, oh my goodness, Valentine's boxes are due tomorrow. So the kids are all at school. So I run to Hobby Lobby, which is the craft store here. And I was like, these are my people. I saw two other families, moms from the school buying their stuff. Like, I can't believe it. I got it. I was like, I know, me too. But yes, I underfunction in crafts because I don't buy the supplies and then manage them. We just don't have any. Mm-hmm. Real quick, side note, and I want it on the podcast. Please don't cut this out. How do you say the word? You know that brand, it's called Vicks, and you get that rub and like you can put it on your feet, under your socks, like if you're congested and supposedly it's supposed to clear your airways. It's called Vicks something. Do you know what it's called?
I don't think I've ever heard of that.
Oh my gosh, of course you had. You can rub it on your chest and it clears out your, come on. Starts with
Vaporize?
Vapor rub.
Vapo rub.
Yes. Did you know it's Vapo rub?
Yeah.
I had no idea. I thought it was Vapor rub my whole 46 years of life. There's a commercial on right now and it's just like, Vicks Vapo rub. And I was just like, she can't say her R. I thought, what an odd person to put on the commercial. Vicks Vapo rub. Vicks Vapo rub. Vicks Vapo rub. It is just Vapo rub.
It is Vapo rub.
Okay, you already knew that. I was going to teach you something. Vapo rub. Doesn't it sound like you can't quite say an R right? Vapo rub. Okay, forget it. I'm going to laugh and I'm going to sing and dance and ask questions. Are we done?
I think we've probably reached the end of our time together.
Okay, we're gonna pick one of these cards like we do every week this season, and I'm gonna ask you a question. This one right here.
Because we're not really friends. Is that what the name of this? We're not really strangers.
After all, we record this talking about our great friendship, and now we're breaking the news. We're not really friends. Okay, this is a hard week. Laugh every day. Ask more questions. I think you need to do those things too.
I will laugh all the time.
Okay, fine. I think you need to ask questions. Okay. And also, Heather, you need to give your partner a compliment you don't think they hear enough.
And with that, we'll end.
Okay. Next week, we'll find out what Heather complimented Whit on. We're going to hold her to it this week. Compliment.
I mean,
you don't have to tell us what it is. You have to tell him. Give your partner a compliment you don't think they...
I think that we're supposed to be the couple in this.
Oh, okay, go for it. Give me a compliment. I've never thought of myself as your partner, but that's fine.
Because, I think this is some of these are couples games. Like it's supposed to be just, I think so.
Give me a compliment. It's great.
That I don't think you hear enough.
I'm beautiful.
You are
beautiful.
really
beautiful.
No.
You said no.
No. I'm not giving you that one.
You're not going to lie to my face.
You
Don't make it too mushy.
I'm not going to make it mushy, but it's true. So it might sound a little mushy. I'm searching for the right word because it's not kind and it's not nice. But you really care about people.
I do. I really do.
You do.
Thank you,
and I
Heather.
see it. Like you just make people feel so good
thank you.
about themselves. And when you interact with people, you don't even hold back. You just lay
The
it
good
on them.
or the bad. Just, I've given you all I've got, good or bad. Here it comes.
Here it is.
Thank you. Oh my goodness. Thank you for joining us this week for
I
Life
don't
in
get a compliment.
Motion. Oh, we do both back and forth.
Yeah, it's fine. We'll save it for next time.
I just feel like surely they're done listening to us. Thank you for joining us this week for Life in Motion. Join us back next week to find out if the George kids know how to do their laundry. Just kidding. But honestly, we love having you with us. And thanks for joining us on Life in Motion.